are so excited to be here with the Rally community, especially as today is the day we're launching our next generation Exchange product called Accelerate. So what Appcast does, maybe I'll just give a little bit of background about Appcast. Appcast helps companies get high quality applicants into their recruiting pipelines by improving their online job posting programs, also known as optimizing job distribution. Because we've been doing this for so long, since 2014, we've powered 2.5 billion job postings. And each time we generate applications, we capture and then learn from the data. So what really sets Appcast apart is that data powers everything we do. We understand that many organizations have pulled back from hiring, but you still have key roles that are critical right now. Now is the time to be proactive and to target the people you'll need, as it remains hard to find people with the right skills in the right locations. This is the time to make sure you're targeting the right people. And even harder than finding quality candidates for one funnel is the fact that you need to find quality candidates for multiple funnels, in some cases, even hundreds of funnels. To complicate even more, while you have some jobs where you can never have enough candidates, over here with the empty funnels, many of our customers have some jobs that are easy to fill and left unwatched would get too many applications, wasted spend. Appcast Accelerate, which again launches today, May 6th, makes filling your funnels easy with the right type of candidate. It can work within your current strategy or be the foundation of a new strategy. How it works is that through a super easy integration with your ATS, your jobs flow into Accelerate. Accelerate then determines which jobs need applications, where on the web these jobs should go based on that huge repository of success data, and then distributes those jobs to those sites using best-in-class programmatic technology. Applications from candidates that you're more likely to hire then flow back into your ATS. And the best part is, companies only pay when someone applies. I'm going to double-click on a few key points here. First, Accelerate's reach is massive. The monthly visits to our jobs dwarf those visits to the largest single job board. We've helped our clients acquire hundreds of millions of applications from the right candidates. Our software has gotten really smart at knowing where hireable job seekers live, work, and hang out online. So the massive distribution and reach is awesome, but without programmatic technology, it would be ineffective. Programmatic technology makes this work for a few different reasons. First, our technology won't let you overspend, and it won't let you promote a job for which you already have enough quality applicants. This can have a huge impact on candidate experience. Number two, applicant quality we're going to dig into on the next page a bit more, but suffice to say, we know how to deliver candidates you are more likely to hire. And number three, our programmatic technology helps to eliminate source bias. This is the phenomenon where your recruiters in the field push back on your choices on where the job is featured. The key is data decides where the jobs go. I want to talk a bit more now about how Appcast delivers more quality applicants. Again, we understand that filling the top of your funnel isn't just about quantity and volume, especially during these times. If you have hundreds of applicants and none that is hireable, that is not a win. With a quality integration, Accelerate learns where your best candidates come from. Best candidates meaning those candidates you are more likely to hire, those that have the right skills in the right locations. There's a feedback loop within Accelerate, and it allows us to provide you with better and better candidates as our systems learn from the data.
What you'll note is this is all through a user interface. There is no coding knowledge required. You don't have to learn HTML or CSS or anything else. It's really user-friendly to add in some text, add an image, and a whole range of other content types as well. So I won't go through them all in detail, but lots of jobs information. Calls to action we'll come back to, really powerful capability that you can tailor to different pages on the site, video content hosting, blog content, etc. If you did want to use code at some point, you can. The example I give here that's really easy to do is grab your Twitter feed, grab the embed code of that Twitter feed and paste it in, and we can present that Twitter feed. I've actually done it, I won't do it today, but I've done it live in a demo before. It takes like less than 30 seconds to do, and you can have your Twitter feed embedded in your careers site. We had a client in the retail industry who's looking to build an event page like this, and typically it would take them about 7 weeks to turn something like this around. And you can see that call to action that I had up earlier live in the page. It would take them 7 weeks and thousands of dollars with an external agency to do this. They told us it took them 7 minutes to achieve the same outcome. And so that's the proof point of how easy it is to make some of these changes. So importantly, I would note at this point, Laurie, I'm showing a lot of capability today. This system is designed to be as simple or as complex as you need it to be. And it's about starting somewhere and then evolving your strategy over time. But this is about giving people really easy to understand insights around what's working and what isn't. So here I've got a funnel of people visiting the site right through to those who get hired. And as an example, really high level, we're looking at approximate diversity balance throughout that funnel. And here we might know that, well, people are visiting the site, but we're seeing this huge drop off in conversion ratios based on diversity metrics. We can start to drive an intervention around that, or look at our branding messages specifically to address that particular gap. So sits on the front of any ATS to get that return on investment and insight up the front end. So if we take a couple of other examples where we're typically spending a lot of time and money, things like video content. We might be developing some new videos for our careers site or for a particular talent segment with certain brand messages that we know resonate with those audiences. But we can understand, based on past videos that we've created, have they actually delivered a result? Have they converted people through to hire? So of people who viewed a video, how many of them actually ended up applying and how many ended up being hired with the organization? And then we can change our strategy or invest in this strategy moving forward.
But ultimately, when I do get to the jobs, I might find that they don't actually have a job that's relevant for me right now, or maybe like a lot of companies, they aren't currently hiring. So what I can do is go to the very top and hit this follow button. And now I can stay up to date with ATJ. I can see anytime they post an update. I can learn about once they do start hiring again and which roles they add. And ultimately, I'm much more engaged and I'm actually following everything that this company does on Glassdoor. And now our data shows that these branded profiles receive on average 23% more followers on Glassdoor month over month compared to the free profile that we looked at with Vandelay Industries. So here you can see that the branding does directly impact candidate engagement with your organization. And actually through the Employer Center, you can track a month over month how many followers you're getting, and you can also look in more depth at the demographics of those followers, the job titles they're interested in, and some really cool information like that, just to get a sense of ultimately who's interested in your organization. Yeah. So for this example, I'm going to be me. I live in San Francisco and I work in sales and customer success. So as I'm scrolling through the Vandelay Industries page, what I'm seeing under the Jobs You May Like tab are actually not jobs for Vandelay Industries. That's because, again, this is an unbranded profile. So what you can see here is that Glassdoor is actually essentially spoon feeding me positions that are really relevant for me as an individual. All of these companies are in San Francisco. These are all account executive or customer success roles. So I'm actually finding jobs in companies that are of great interest to me. But again, they aren't for Vandelay Industries. So this could potentially pull me off of the Vandelay page. Going back to the ATJ example though, same exact scenario. I'm looking for jobs at ATJ. I'm really interested in this company. Once I go to their Jobs You May Like, I'm actually now only seeing jobs available at this organization. So it's actually a big difference here because I'm now no longer seeing those distractions. There's nothing else that could potentially pull me off of ATJ's page. So my engagement increases and ultimately my conversion increases as well. And what our data shows is that Glassdoor branded profiles actually receive 6 times more apply starts per job on average. So the simplicity, the ease, and also the content associated with each job increases conversion quite a lot. So employer brand awareness is super critical for, everybody, whether you're on a billboard across every freeway or whether you're a really small startup and people haven't heard the company name yet. a lot of these tools that we've looked at so far are great if you already have people coming to your page, but the question is, how can we actually cast that wider net and get more new candidates who don't know about you to come to your page? So one element that's included in the Glassdoor branded profile is something called competitor targeting ads. And what this allows you to do is actually target 5 to 10 non-partnered profiles on Glassdoor. So the thought here is that you want to target competitors with similar hiring needs to your own. And I'll share an example with you, again, going back to ATJ. This is a branded profile, so they have this tool. Right now, they're actually targeting Vandelay Industries. So as I scroll through the Vandelay page, here on the right-hand side, I'm seeing that ad for ATJ. It says companies to explore, and I'm actually being fed 2 positions that they're currently hiring for.
We're going to spend our time today in Greenhouse is ATS. We find that the majority of our customers will use our product baked into their ATS. So Grayscale can integrate in your ATS in a number of ways. One, we've got a Chrome extension that can just pop out on the right-hand side of the page, make it really easy to message with candidates. So I can text with candidates here. You'll notice I'm on Peter Parker's profile. I can see this is the full texting history I have going with Peter, automatically organized here on the candidate record. I can also just grab a template to fire off a message to the candidate. So I can minimize this extension when I don't need it. All of the activity syncs up with the candidate's profile. So I can see a full history of the communication with the candidate here. In Greenhouse, as an activity feed, and Lever, it's a note, and then in various other ATSs, there'll be other feeds as well. But we'll import that information back in so it's seamless, so you have a record there at the candidate profile. So Lori, what I wanted to highlight first is just a simple way to start texting with candidates. A lot of times when you think texting, it's a new channel for a lot of people. When you think automation, which is it can be a big scary word, it can be a bit daunting. So I would encourage a lot of listeners just to think in terms of simple communication points. And we want to make it really, really simple for you to start leveraging text in really simple ways throughout the process to improve the experience. So this alone, just one-to-one messaging with candidates can really help with that. Now, that's not the end of the story. I'm going to keep going and layering in more, but I just want to make that point first and foremost, because I do think a lot of companies we talk to are sort of really on the fence about texting just because they're kind of frozen in place and they don't really know the best place to start. And I would just encourage you just to start really small and then expand as you're seeing value. When you start hiring again, we see a couple things, a couple points that if you can tighten up, you can really improve your experience and your throughput from a candidate standpoint. And one of those is just reducing the number of no-shows you have for your interviews. And so you can do simple things like schedule interview reminders to go out to candidates. So I can select, let's say I have an interview this Friday, I can send out a reminder 24 hours in advance that will be scheduled to go out to that candidate. So it's a great way to kind of boost. What we oftentimes see is that if someone can't make it, they'll text back and you'll start a dialogue. It acts as a reminder, but also a channel that someone can text back on and back and forth to reschedule or to let you know that they don't have reliable means of transportation and can we do a video call instead. Another aspect of the product allows you to create bulk messages or drip functionality to be able to nurture relationships and to get the word out kind of in bulk. The way this works, this will integrate with your ATS, so you can just start typing a rec you have, a rec number or the job name. You can pull in candidates that are associated with different stages in the process, compose a message. All of these will be personalized. You can drop in a first name tag, and so everything should be personalized, kind of going to candidates. And this will just feel like you picked up your cell phone as the recruiter and just texted that one candidate, even though you might be messaging 10, 100, 500 candidates all at one time.
We took this approach of let's build we started with just very low fidelity wireframes, and we abstracted out a lot of the content strategy pieces and really just started with what are the blocks that we need. And then once we identified a bunch of different types of blocks, a bunch of different potential styles that would exist within them, then we added some of the content strategy back. And then we said, okay, here's a core set of templates. Right now we have 8 within our portfolio, and we allow our customers and prospects to pretty much browse our list of templates and say, I would like to apply this template to my career site. Out the other side, you'll get candidates into your CRM. Let's say I want to search for a product manager. Search near to my heart. So one of the things that we do, we pride ourselves in having great search technology. We use Google. Years back, they announced their Google for Jobs initiative. The job search API is one that powers the career sites. There's a profiles API that powers the CRM. So when we pass in product manager, we have an index set of all of our candidates in Google search algorithm. We take this phrase product manager, we pass it to them, they send back a response that's all these product managers, in this case 33 of them that are relevant to this position that are in my database itself. Let's say I'm filling I have an exact role that I'm looking for, which is usually the case. And here it is. So I've got this role. So this is an integration with the underlying applicant tracking system. So in this case, when it's iCIMS as the ATS and iCIMS Nurture as the CRM, they're connected together. So I'm going to take this role right here, and I'm going to pass in the title, the description, all the structured data that's associated with that role. And I'm going to use that as effectively my query to the engines that are working within Nurture. So we do something really cool. It's a strategy called Ensemble Matching. And we don't have time to get into really deep into the weeds on the technology here, but you can think of it as this. There are 3 different matching engines that are sitting here behind the scenes. We take this request, all the structured data associated with this product manager position, and we send it to 3 different engines. And then they independently return 3 responses back to us with candidates. We look at them, we identify where are their agreements among the responses in the engines, and then we weight them according to what we see their strengths are. And then we only serve the results back to the recruiter in this case when we do see those agreements, when there are fits, when the weights work out properly according to our tolerances for relevancy and precision. And we service those back to the recruiter.
That our marketing departments have a lot of access to things that we wouldn't otherwise have access to. So for instance, if somebody were to come to our website and tool around and do a little bit of shopping, our marketing teams, they know that, right? And so we thought we would implement that same kind of approach at Talemetry. So I've just jumped into the Talemetry backend screens specifically to show you what we call our visitor pool. Now, so within Talemetry, and this is our CRM, we can source, which means we can segment the database that we currently have, or we can jump out to third-party sources and bring them back, and I might talk about that in a bit. But one of the areas that we have is what we call visitors. So absolutely everybody who hits the career site gets a visitor record in the CRM. Now, a lot of them have the same name, Lori, John Doe, or well, I should say a lot of them are no name, right? We just don't have a name for them because they haven't told us who they are. We know where they came from, we know what pages they viewed, etc., but we don't know who they are yet until they answer a call to action. Well, that might be, I want job alerts. It might be I want to join a talent network. It might be I apply for a job. So once they take a call to action, we now have a full record of them, and they might even become full-fledged CRM record at that point. But we always have a record of people who have just visited the career site but haven't necessarily applied or haven't necessarily joined a talent network. This way, it gives us a lot of intelligence about them as individuals, gives us intelligence about them as a pool, and then it gives us the ability to proactively market out and say, I see you are on our career site, you read these pages, we're excited to have you. If you'd like to learn more, click here. And now you've got them. And then we can take a look at known visitors, unknown visitors. We can do a quick search as to when they visited first and to be able to pull that list down. And then once we've got a list of people who visited our site and we'd like to reach out to, then all we have to do is email them or send a text message to them, which in this case, we won't have their text or we would have their names, and reach out and say, hey, gosh, we'd love to have you come back. So it's really a cool tool and is starting to take up a lot of adoption. And what's important about this is that if a candidate then authenticates into that career site, we can now dish them up more personalized, targeted content because of all this data we've been holding on them inside the CRM. So
all of our profiles include some photos, some rich media. Most will include some form of video. And then also it just walks through what's unique about the organization. So you can see here, we're tagging some of the locations that this organization is located in, so the user knows where they're actually hiring in. This is a little section about what they do. If you keep on scrolling through, you can see that we have this navigation bar here talks about the about section, then there's about the employees, about the offices, and then of course what jobs they do have live. You can see it's filled with some video. Assuring has a few employee testimonial videos live. They also have the ability here to highlight their offices. So you can see here that as a job seeker, you know that this company is hiring in Nashville, they're hiring in San Mateo, they're hiring in Sterling. And then if we keep on scrolling down, there's a little bit of copy and some more imagery about what's unique about the brand. So this company wanted to focus on, they're in the national music city of the United States, so they're talking about what's unique about Nashville. And to take it one step further, we also are able to just have some of the words that the employees are describing about Asurion. So employees at Asurion say the company is innovative, collaborative, diverse, and supportive. So this can really help with the line fit. I want to bring you to Hachette Book Group's career site. So this is their actual career site. It might look like the Muse profile because essentially what we're doing is mirroring their Muse profile here. But if you scroll through this is actually, Lori, what we call the brand block technology. So our partners have the ability to embed their profile directly onto their career site. And as a user, you really don't know that you're seeing a reflection of their Muse profile, because when you click on a video, it does play naturally on their career site. Everything here is embedded. So this is a great example of somebody who embedded their full profile on the career site. One other example is, this is one of our partners, Sumo Logic. Their career site is a little bit more native. They actually included lots of their own content, but they just wanted to embed their employee testimonial videos. So these are videos that were captured by the Muse that they've added to their site so that job seekers can learn more about what it's like to work and hear directly from the actual employees. This is a sneak peek inside one of our partners, not going to disclose who or what the date range is here, but we know that measuring success of your employer brand is very difficult. So we do give our partners the ability to measure throughout their entire candidate life cycle. So what we want to do is first focus on, top of the funnel, how many users are viewing their profile, how many impressions are they getting both on and off the Muse, who's interacting with their brand, what are they clicking on, what are they watching? And then towards the bottom here, we do have job engagement. So how many times have your jobs been viewed? How many times has a user clicked on the job, clicked apply? And then we are able to measure with certain ATSs the total number of completed applications that your content and your profile is influencing. So we definitely like to work with our partners on measuring success of their employer brand, of their recruiting efforts. Most accounts will be working directly with an account manager who is always eager to walk you through how you're performing, how you're standing up versus your talent competitors on the Muse. So measuring the success of employer branding is very difficult, and measuring success of your recruiting efforts is difficult. So we definitely want to give our partners the ability to do that. And this is a little screenshot as to how we can do that.
For the companies that are currently freezing their hiring needs, so there are still a lot of the applicants out there and they want to apply, but if the company doesn't really have any jobs right now to offer, what they can do and how they can utilize the technology is just by letting the virtual assistant build their talent community. So there is a person who is browsing through the career page on the company career sites. There's a little chatbot that puts on top of the company career page, which is branded, which has their company's logo type and everything, and which can start to engage in conversation with 100% of all the people that are browsing through the company career page. And it greets them and tells them, hey, I would be happy to answer any of the questions, so that we actually building the employer brand and helping them out to communicate their mission, their values. But also we can accept the candidate's information and capture this and also create this talent community on the back end, so that once they want to make gigs back in, the company has a list of the people that are really looking forward to working in the company, and then they can reach out to them and discuss some of the opportunities that they might be having that might be a good fit. So here it all starts with launching the campaign in Zor. So the recruiter or HR of the company will need to upload the list of the people that they have been laid off with the information that they have about them, primarily phone or email, as well as the name, because we want to communicate with those employees on scale. We choose whether or not we want to reach out to them over the text, which is a preferred method, but we'll also have an ability to use the email. And we can send out one single text or launch the virtual assistant workflow. So employees can opt in into the receiving of the further information about the candidate. Obviously, keep in mind that those people were not fired by a robot. This is just a robot post laying off process, reaching out to them and then asking them, if anything changes, if we have new job opportunities in place, would you be okay if we communicate with you? And they can opt in or say, or opt out, for example, if needed. In our experience, less than 1% of the people actually do opt out. So once we build this talent community, because we know who of those laid off employees are ready to receive any further communication, once we actually have something in mind, yep. So we can see all of the candidates, all of the people that were reached out. And what we're doing here is we are actually launching one more campaign. So once we know who of those people opted in, again, we're launching the campaign once we have the vacancy in place. We can schedule the campaign, obviously, or send it right away. This time, it will be a new reach out to those folks, and the chatbot will announce a particular job opportunity that they have in mind that might be a good opportunity for the person that was laid off, and to connect them to the recruiter if they're ready to talk.